Good morning. This is Rachel Jackson with Yum Healing Arts. I am a yoga instructor, a massage therapist, and an aromatherapist, both in practice and as an educator. And just before I begin here, this is a video on aromatherapy for insomnia. And if you are interested in exploring any of the essential oils that I am discussing today, you can go to my website, yumhealingarts.com, and you can read more about the essential oils there as a reference or purchase them there. These are all, the ones that I'm covering today are from Wisdom of the Earth, and they are all pure single ingredient essential oils. Nothing is added, nothing is subtracted, and always either organic, biodynamically farmed, or ethically and sustainably wild harvested, supporting smaller family-operated farms primarily. So there's a lot I could talk about on that alone, but I will get right into this so that you have at your fingertips some resources to help you if you struggle with insomnia. Insomnia can take on a lot of different flavors. It can manifest from different organs in the system in different ways with the mind. So we're in the summertime here in Arizona, and I might choose different essential oils based on the season if I'm struggling with sleep. And I'm going to start out with one that I would use more in the summertime if there's any kind of heart imbalance, or if there's a tendency to become very passionate about things, but there's maybe an overexcitement and a tendency to burn out. So if you recognize that as something that you experience in your personality, then I would go with Lang Lang, and I would probably pair it with some benzoin. Benzoin is very thick and resiny, and Lang Lang is very sweet and sedating. And it doesn't take much of the Lang Lang. One drop will go a long way. It's very rich, but you can apply it to the chest, or you could apply it to the lower back or the soles of the feet, depending on your personal preference. If you want to get the aroma in and you find that the aroma itself is helping you, then maybe applying it at the chest where you can really breathe it in. Or if you don't prefer the aroma, or you find that it's too strong and interrupts your sleep, then the lower back or the soles of the feet are fine. You get the benefits into the bloodstream anyway, and you don't always need the strong in your face aroma to help you sleep. So if you tend to burn out, or if there's been a lot of excitement, sometimes excitement or even good news can come in strong and even act like shock on the system and feel a little bit draining. And sometimes the mind is overexcited and keeps us floating where we can't get into the deep rest of sleep. Lang Lang is a body tonic, and it helps regenerate the system, regenerate the chi, and again in combination with the benzoin, which is very grounding, good for vata. Those are a nice combination. My second combination that I'll present to you here is vetiver with lavender Albanian. You could just use one, you don't have to use two. I'm trying to present two options if there needs to be a little extra assistance from multifaceted places. Some people's insomnia is more extreme than others. So this is one combination that I would recommend if there's any sort of yin deficiency, if the kidneys and the adrenals have been depleted and sleep disturbance has been a chronic issue. Now it's probably going to be harder to turn that around if, for example, you're a new mom, you've had sleep disturbances for a year or two, you're extremely depleted, and your system isn't even used to sleeping for more than a few hours at a time. chances are you're going to need something that helps ground the vata and restore the kidneys and the adrenals. And that vetiver would definitely be my choice for that. And then in combination with the Albanian variety of the lavender, you could use any lavender that you prefer, but I really like the Albanian one. It's very grounding, very earthy, unique aroma, and sedating, calming. These are a combination I think I mentioned in a previous video for anxiety as well. So dual purpose here, helps with anxiety, helps ground vata, and restore the kidneys, the adrenals, and the yin functions of the body. I also, just as a side note, if you have young children and that is something you're struggling with, vetiver and both of them will work really well on infants. You don't need much. 1 drop goes a long way, and always on the soles of the feet or the lower back with babies. I'll even put some socks on the little baby's feet if they can access their toes. I don't like them to touch it because any essential oil would bother them if they got it in their eyes. But it usually absorbs within the first 30 seconds, so you don't have to worry about it after a few seconds. But I remember I used those a lot with my daughter when she was about 6 months. I remember that I hadn't gotten sleep in a long time, and I put 1 drop of vetiver on the soles of her feet, and that was the first time that she slept for 6 hours straight. And I was just like, what am I going to do with all this time? It was so magical. And so from then on, I did remember to always, if she wasn't able to get to sleep and I was at my wit's end, I would just go ahead and put a drop of vetiver on the soles of her feet, and it was magical. Even just the smell of it when she was nursing sometimes seemed to be enough to help her relax. If you have a baby that struggles with relaxation or is just kind of angsty. So that's another little fun trick. If you are struggling with sleep and you need the other component of like, my baby needs to sleep so I can sleep, that's another remedy there that might be helpful. Now, my last combination that I will offer is chamomile and orange petitgrain. If you find that you are the type of individual that at night is when you sort of obsess about things, overanalyze, and struggle with settling in because you almost compulsively have to solve a certain problem or finish a certain task or write something down, or to find that your mind is swirling over things obsessively in a circle, the same things over and over, chamomile is your remedy. I personally like the Roman or the wild chamomile. The Roman is a bit more sedating and anti-spasmodic, anti-inflammatory. It has more earthy, grounding aromas to it, whereas the wild is still grounding, but it's also a bit more centering for the heart and a little bit lighter than the really musky, earthy smell of the Roman. So it just depends on what you like. I will fluctuate between which ones I prefer and which ones I really find helpful. And then the orange petitgrain balances it nicely if there's a little bit of irritability or if there's any type of anxiety or ADHD type qualities. So maybe you diffuse it or maybe you put it on your skin. It's up to you. They work really well together. So I would maybe put them on the chest. Again, lower back and feet are always great options. Orange petitgrain, if you're not familiar with it, is steam distilled from the branches, leaves, and young fruit of the bitter orange tree. And that's done earlier on in the season when the trees need some pruning so that they don't overfruit and to improve the quality of their fruit. So it's therapeutic for the plant, but also a bonus for the distillers and for the farmers to get this unique essential oil. And because it's steam distilled with the leaves and the branches, it has more action on the central nervous system. It has more action on the respiratory system, but even on for skin, for improving the quality of the veins and the nerves, for respiratory issues. Those are all ways in which you could therapeutically use the orange petitgreen. So works really well at night if you have a night asthma. Roman chamomile and orange petitgreen work really nice, and they won't be triggering any kind of, they'll be antispasmodic for that kind of asthma. So I hope that this helps. Another thing to remember about orange petitgreen is you can wear it in the sun as opposed to your orange essential oils that are cold pressed. They contain coumarins. Your citrus oils that are cold pressed contain coumarins that will create a photosensitivity. Always do a test patch with any essential oil, but the steam distilled petitgreens offer a more accessible medicine or therapeutic qualities. You can use them on the skin without that fear of, oh, I'm going to be in the sun tomorrow. Where do I apply this? Or I want to apply it to the chest, but I'm going to be in the sun tomorrow, gardening or whatever. And I want to be thoughtful of that. So that might be helpful. If you would like to study with me, I offer many classes on here in Camp Verde, Arizona. I offer trainings for aromatherapy certification, but I also offer some continuing education classes, both live and virtually. So check out my website if you're interested, and please reach out if you have any questions. Comment below. Let me know what you might like me to talk about next. Thanks for watching.